My reputation, Lu, out in the world, is going to be completely ruined by you, you brat. This was the first sentence Song Qiaoyi heard as soon as she entered the door. Lu Yubai was kneeling before Lu Yincheng, his head bowed low, being reprimanded. This was the Lu family's rule. Song Qiaoyi had heard at the door that Lu Yubai was punished by Lu Yincheng to kneel under the scorching sun for a whole morning at the entrance of the Lu family estate. For Lu Yubai, who had been doted on and pampered by Jiang Xinxin since childhood, this was sheer torture. Lu Xiaotian stood to the side, expressionless. Song Qiaoyi understood Lu Xiaotian well. He must have felt that Lu Yubai had disgraced him, which was why he remained silent. In contrast, Jiang Xinxin's eyes were red, and she was covering her mouth. It was clear she had just been crying. When Jiang Xinxin saw Song Qiaoyi enter, she ran over as if seeing a lifesaver. She grabbed Song Qiaoyi's hand. Qiaoyi, Dad likes you so much. Please quickly talk to Dad and ask him to forgive AU this time. Song Qiaoyi was a bit bewildered. She didn't know what was going on. She could only politely greet Grandpa Lu. Then, she greeted Lu Xiaotian and Jiang Xinxin. As Jiang Xinxin had said, Lu Yincheng's expression immediately changed upon seeing Song Qiaoyi. He said kindly, Qiaoyi, you're finally here. Come, quickly come and sit by Grandpa. As Song Qiaoyi passed by Lu Yubai, he happened to raise his head. The two exchanged a glance. Lu Yubai's gaze seemed to be saying, help him. Song Qiaoyi withdrew her gaze and sat down beside Lu Yincheng, asking, Grandpa Lu, did you need me for something? Qiaoyi, come. Grandpa asked you, do you know a girl named Jiang Xinyu? Song Qiaoyi was startled. What's wrong? Did something happen? Lu Yincheng glared at Lu Yubai, who was kneeling on the ground, and scolded, Yesterday was a private event for our Lu family. This brat not only secretly snuck this girl in, but also used the Lu family's name everywhere to drum up business for her. Today, those people came to me asking what was going on. Lu Yincheng pointed at Lu Yubai. Do you know what those people are saying about our Lu family? They're saying our Lu family is now a mere clown, helping all sorts of people, no matter their quality. The more Lu Yincheng spoke, the angrier he became, even bringing out the family law, the Lu family's ancestral whip. How could Jiang Xinxin bear to see her precious son beaten? She immediately rushed forward, stopping Lu Yincheng's whip from coming down. Dad, please calm down. At least listen to AU's explanation first. I'm sure AU didn't do it on purpose. He must have been misled by something. Jiang Xinxin blocked Lu Yincheng and turned her head to look at Lu Yubai, who was kneeling on the ground. AU, why aren't you quickly explaining to Grandpa? Seeing Lu Yubai keeping his head down, unresponsive, Jiang Xinxin looked at Song Qiaoyi again. Qiaoyi, you must know the whole story. Please quickly help you explain to Dad. Looking at Lu Yubai kneeling on the ground, the distinct marks of severe slaps were clearly visible on his sharply defined profile. Song Qiaoyi softened her heart once again. She spoke up for Lu Yubai, explaining, Grandpa Lu, Jiang Xinyu's my good friend. Their family recently had some problems, so I asked Lu Yubai to help introduce some resources. Song Qiaoyi bit her lower lip tightly. It was I who asked AU to secretly take Jiang Xinyu to the event yesterday. If you want to punish, please punish me. See, Dad? I told you this matter had nothing to do with AU. It's all Song Qiaoyi's fault. If she hadn't asked him to, how would AU have done something that disgraced the Lu family? Therefore, you must severely punish Song Qiaoyi. Jiang Xinxin's blame shifted quickly. However, Song Qiaoyi was used to it. She had always been like this toward her. Lu Yincheng put away the family whip, his expression serious. He asked Song Qiaoyi, is what you're saying true? Did you tell AU to do this? Song Qiaoyi nodded. She bit her lower lip even tighter. Jiang Xinxin added fuel to the fire from the side. Dad, she's admitted it. Look at how her ignorance has harmed AU. His knees are all scraped raw from kneeling. You used to dote on AU the most. Lu Yubai hadn't said a word, and Song Qiaoyi knew he was preparing to take all the blame himself, just like every time before. Grandpa Lu, I'm sorry. Saying this, Song Qiaoyi prepared to kneel down. Lu Yincheng raised his cane and pressed it against Song Qiaoyi's legs, which were about to touch the ground. What are you doing? Get up quickly. Jiang Xinxin was in disbelief. Dad, her unfinished words were swallowed whole by a single glance from Lu Yincheng. Since she's your friend, then Grandpa, won't hold against you. Next time something like this happens, come directly to Grandpa. Grandpa will personally arrange it for you. Lu Yincheng patted the empty spot on the sofa beside him, signaling Song Qiaoyi to sit there. As soon as Song Qiaoyi sat down, Lu Yincheng took her hand and gently patted it. Grandpa is worried that AU being so attentive and helping other girls would look bad for you if it got out. After all, your engagement to AU will eventually be publicly announced. Song Qiaoyi was deeply moved by Lu Yincheng's words. Her eyes reddened, and her throat felt as if it were clogged. Some words, though on the tip of her tongue, she couldn't utter. She had always known that Lu Yubai genuinely cared for her, treating her like his own family. Ultimately, Song Qiaoyi still didn't want to continue deceiving Lu Yubai. Grandpa Lu, actually. Dad, it's almost time. Lu Xiaotian suddenly spoke, interrupting what Song Qiaoyi was about to say. He glanced at the time on his wristwatch. The scheduled time of the board of directors is almost here. You should prepare. Lu Yubai, understood. Lu Yubai let go of Song Qiaoyi's hand. Grandpa needs to go take care of business now. Later, I'll arrange for a driver to take you back. With that, Lu Yubai and Lu Xiaotian left. After confirming Lu Yubai had left, only then did Jiang Xinxin dare to help Lu Yubai to sit on the sofa. Her face filled with heartache. She said, "Hey, you, does it hurt? Wait, Mom will go to the room now and get some ointment for you." As she passed by Song Qiaoyi again, disregarding the fact that Song Qiaoyi had just spoken up for Lu Yubai, she bumped into her, causing Song Qiaoyi to stumble back a few steps and almost fall to the ground. This attitude was a world apart from when she had just asked for her help. In the hall, only she and Lu Yubai remained. Lu Yubai naturally put his arm around Song Qiaoyi's shoulder. "Song Qiaoyi, I knew you still couldn't bear to see me punished." Song Qiaoyi knew Lu Yubai was counting on her soft heart. Even before she arrived, Lu Yubai must have already shifted the blame onto her. Otherwise, Lu Yubai wouldn't have asked her if she knew Jiang Xinyu from the start. Song Qiaoyi twisted her shoulder, shaking off Lu Yubai's hand, and said coldly and indifferently, "Don't misunderstand. I only helped you because you remember my mother's death anniversary that day. Now we're even. Next time, you'll have to deal with things yourself." Song Qiaoyi thought to herself, "Let's just leave it at that. Oh, don't be so cold. At worst, I'll treat you to a meal." Is this just about a meal? Every time Lu Yubai angered Song Qiaoyi in the past, he would say he'd treat her to a meal, but every time, she would go along with Lu Yubai and eat at the restaurants he liked. "No, thank you." Lu Yubai frowned. He had never imagined Song Qiaoyi would refuse his invitation. In the past, she would have eagerly followed him out the door. Song Qiaoyi stood up, preparing to leave. Before leaving, she didn't forget to remind Lu Yubai, "You should still seriously think about how to confess your relationship with Jiang Xinyu to Grandpa Lu. Don't forget what you told me at the restaurant back then." With that, Song Qiaoyi left without looking back. Just as she was about to head to the apartment Lu Yubai had prepared for her, Song Qiaoyi received an invitation to a birthday party from her good friend Susu, whom she had met abroad. The location was a bar. Song Qiaoyi quite liked drinking and had a high tolerance for alcohol. But because of Lu Yubai, she hadn't had a drink in a long time. Plus, now she also wanted to allow her suppressed emotions to find a brief release. On the rooftop of the bar, Song Qiaoyi had drunk a bit too much tonight. Her eyes were glazed over, and she vaguely saw a figure not far from her. Song Qiaoyi, unable to control herself, walked towards that figure. Night fell. The moon and the brilliant city lights, seen through the 360-degree transparent glass walls, illuminated the high-altitude rooftop bar with a wonderful ambience. Tonight, the bar's terrace was not open to casual guests, and no one was there. Muchen stood by a butterfly lamp suspended in the air, took out a cigarette, and placed it in his mouth. He bent his neck and raised a hand to shield the flame. Perhaps to get some air, his collar was open wider, and his sleeves were rolled up to his arms, revealing smooth, toned muscle lines. Click! The lighter's gear slid and a flicker of light ignited. Muchen bent his neck again to bring the cigarette closer to the flame, when he suddenly heard the stumbling sound of high heels behind him. He bit the cigarette and turned his head. The lit flame hadn't yet died down. Beside the flickering flame was an emerald green figure with a slender waist and delicate bones. Song Qiaoyi was hugging a pink and white lamppost, the light concealing the blush of intoxication already on her face. Song Qiaoyi. Muchen wasn't sure if it was her, because the woman in front of him was wearing a tight black dress, its hem only reaching her thighs, her long legs straight and slender. Even without makeup, under the effect of the lights, she appeared sometimes alluring, sometimes gentle, sometimes charming, quite unlike the usual Song Qiaoyi. Muchen squinted at her, pinched the cigarette with two fingers to remove it, then flicked his wrist to put it back in pack. He stared intently. "It really is you? How did you get here?" This bar's terrace was private. Every evening, it didn't accept casual guests except for Muchen. He glanced sideways. Muchen looked at the terrace door, remembering he had sent the doorman away to fetch something, which was how Song Qiaoyi had managed to slip in. But why would she be at this bar? Song Qiaoyi blinked obediently. Her slightly tipsy eyes were like plum blossom petals stained with snow-melted dawn, both pink and dewy. I won't tell you." Dazed with intoxication, she pressed her fingertips to her cheek, thinking, then suddenly looked up and mysteriously crooked a finger at Muchen. "Hey, come closer." Su Muchen. Su Muchen didn't move. He leaned against the glass wall, hesitating. A premonition of ill omen suddenly arose in his heart. Song Qiaoyi licked her lips. Come closer and I'll tell you. Su Muchen. He slowly and hesitantly straightened his back, observing Song Qiaoyi as he stepped towards her. Thanks to the lighting that Su Muchen hadn't realized Song Qiaoyi was drunk. He just felt that this woman was a bit strange tonight and had intended to get closer to see if she had had too much to drink or had been provoked. But what Su Muchen hadn't expected was the moment he stood still in front of Song Qiaoyi. She let go of the lamppost and suddenly leaped onto him. Song Qiaoyi. Su Muchen's expression changed abruptly. He instinctively raised his hand to clasp Song Qiaoyi's lower back, and caught completely off guard by her impact, he staggered backward. Then, before he could regain his senses, Song Qiaoyi wrapped her leg around his waist and leaned in to kiss his ear. All of Su Muchen's senses amplified in that instant. The warmth and softness against his ear and the hot breath on his cheek seemed to pierce his soul, overwhelmingly occupying his entire mind. Song Qiaoyi. Song. A sharp scraping sound suddenly echoed. Before Su Muchen could finish speaking, Song Qiaoyi audaciously pushed his shoulder. Caught off guard, he, holding Song Qiaoyi, tumbled with her into the huge round sofa behind them. The sofa took a heavy impact from their weight. IT slid in the direction of the force, its metal legs scraping against the floor with an extremely harsh, grating sound. And then, Song Qiaoyi's lips brushed against Su Muchen's cheek, landing on his raised chin. The veins pulsed on Su Muchen's arms in that instant. His well-defined fingers tightened around Song Qiaoyi's waist, and as his Adam's apple bobbed up and down, both his ears visibly flushed crimson. Su Muchen's mind went blank. The moment their soft lips met, his reason and consciousness were almost burned away. The air was so still he could hear their lingering breaths and the violent thumping of his heart in his chest. Yet, Song Qiaoyi's kiss continued upwards that Su Muchen felt a tingling numbness from a brushing. He turned his head, avoiding a kiss that almost landed on his lips. Song Qiaoyi. He called her name, his voice low and hoarse. His hands, whose veins had not yet receded, gripped her slender lower back, and he grasped her wrist tightly. How much have you had to drink? Calm down. Su Muchen closed his eyes and raised his chin, his spine tingling from Song Qiaoyi's descending kisses, all while trying to evade her yet almost succumbing. Immediately after, he suddenly felt a pain in his shoulder. Right, another bite. Still the same spot. Why does this woman love biting people so much? Then the woman stopped moving. Su Muchen looked down at her with mixed feelings. His ears, red from the kisses, hadn't yet returned to their normal color. Song Qiaoyi. He tried to call her, but Song Qiaoyi lay motionless on his chest. Her hand, however, was still inside his clothes, resting on his abs. Su Muchen's brows furrowed slightly. He reached out and lifted Song Qiaoyi's chin, only then seeing the flush of intoxication on the corners of her eyes and cheeks. The woman who was assaulting him a second ago was now asleep. Su Muchen. Su Muchen's feelings grew increasingly complex. He reached out again and patted her little face. Wake up quickly. Tell me where you live, and I'll take you home. Song Qiaoyi slapped his hand, muttering drunkenly. Lu Yubai, stop messing around. I'm sleeping. Upon hearing this, Su Muchen's arms, holding her, stiffened. He immediately fell silent. Su Muchen seemed to have misunderstood, murmuring sadly to himself. Could be that all your actions tonight were because you mistook me for Lu Yubai? Su Muchen's expression at that moment was like a pure-hearted, greatly wronged person who had been abandoned. But in the end, he reached under Song Qiaoyi's knees and stood up, holding the drunken woman. Tisk, a boy really should protect himself when out. And now. Not only did he not protect himself, he also had to take this hooligan girl, who mistook him for someone else back home. I give up, asterisk, 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 the next day. Sunlight streamed in through the window cracks. Song Qiaoyi was woken up by hunger. When she opened her eyes, stung by the sunlight, she felt a splitting headache, and the feeling of a hangover surged back, churning like rivers and seas. Song Qiaoyi half propped herself up. She supported herself on the bed with one hand, rubbing her swollen, aching temples with the other, then slowly raised her eyes and surveyed her surroundings. Where was this? A simple black, white, and gray decor, like a man's bedroom. Song Qiaoyi's mind paused for a moment. Wait, a man's bedroom. Song Qiaoyi finally reacted, snatching up the quilt and sitting up as if startled. How did she get here? Song Qiaoyi's pupils contracted slightly. She was just about to recall what happened after she got drunk last night, but before her mind could process it, a relaxed voice softly sounded. Awake! Song Qiaoyi looked up as if startled, seeing that relaxed, languid figure. Su Muchen was wearing a cool, dark, seductive bathrobe, his whole body seeming to have had its bones removed, leaning casually against the bedroom door with a loose, lazy air. Song Qiaoyi. Oh my God! It was only then that she realized had Su Muchen taken her home. You, What are you doing here? Su Muchen held a cup of coffee. He calmly raised it and took a small sip, then pretended to be arrogant as he tilted his head to look at her. This is my home. If I'm not here, where should I be? His home. This really is Su Muchen's home. Oh my God! Song Qiaoyi's pupils dilated. She tapped her head, trying hard to remember what had happened last night. A moment later, memory retrieval failed. Song Qiaoyi only remembered that she had attended Susu's birthday party last night, and halfway through, she saw Lu Yubai and Jiang Xinyu in another private room. Song Qiaoyi didn't recognize anyone else in the room. They were probably Jiang Xinyu's friends or business associates. Although Lu Yubai could hold his liquor reasonably well, he had a slight alcohol allergy, and Song Qiaoyi had always reminded him to be careful. If a situation truly required drinking, Song Qiaoyi would always step forward to drink on his behalf, absolutely not letting Lu Yubai touch a single drop. But last night, Song Qiaoyi saw Lu Yubai actively drinking many toasts for Jiang Xinyu, and although he was clearly showing signs of intoxication, he didn't stop drinking at all. Seeing the scene inside, Song Qiaoyi couldn't tell if she was heartbroken or simply pained with sympathy. She only felt a pain in her heart, as if it were being gnawed by thousands of ants. Song Qiaoyi suppressed the urge to rush in, forcing herself back to her private room. To calm herself down, she drank several glasses of wine from the table. After that, Song Qiaoyi felt very dizzy. She wanted to get some air and stumbled her way to the hotel's balcony. As for what happened next, Song Qiaoyi truly had no recollection whatsoever. Song Qiaoyi lowered her head, not daring to look at Su Muchen, her eyes flickering. How did I end up at your place? Last night, Su Muchen found a drunk Song Qiaoyi, but to avoid revealing his identity, he had his secretary hastily prepare an apartment. He specifically instructed that it had to be the most ordinary, the simplest. But he forgot to specify 2 rooms, and only upon arriving did he realize the secretary had prepared a studio apartment, so simple that it only had a bed and a sofa. Su Muchen finally managed to coax Song Qiaoyi to sleep, and the only bed was naturally occupied by her. He could only sleep on the 1-meter-long sofa. Su Muchen, at least 1.8 meters tall, had an aching back from sleeping on the sofa, and his legs, dangling in the air, were numb to the point of being senseless. Then, after waking up, Song Qiaoyi actually asked him, like a terrible woman, Last night, after I got drunk, you didn't take advantage of me, did you? Su Muchen's expression paused. Who took advantage of whom? He slowly raised his chin, where a fresh wound from Song Qiaoyi was faintly visible. His dark eyes stared at her with a complex gaze. You don't remember any of it? Song Qiaoyi nodded obediently. Although she knew she could hold her liquor pretty well, she wasn't immune to getting drunk. Last night must have exceeded her limit. Blacked out, now her mind was a blank slate. Su Muchen. She wasn't just a hooligan, but an irresponsible one at that. What's your zodiac animal? Su Muchen suddenly asked her. What? I asked what's your Chinese zodiac animal. This time, Su Muchen spoke clearly and completely. Song Qiaoyi replied softly, A dog. Su Muchen slowly raised his chin and pulled open his collar, revealing the wound from Song Qiaoyi's bite. No wonder you're so fond of biting people. Seeing the row of teeth marks on Su Muchen's shoulder, Song Qiaoyi blushed. This wasn't bitten by me, was it? Who else? Su Muchen deliberately frowned. Bitten in the same spot twice. It really hurts. His tone had a hint of petulance. Twice. Su Muchen hadn't told Song Qiaoyi about her biting his shoulder at the hotel that night, so Song Qiaoyi assumed both times were from last night. She had blacked out before, but never like last night. Was it because she saw Lu Yubai drinking for Jiang Xinyu last night? The scene of Lu Yubai drinking for Jiang Xinyu last night resurfaced. Song Qiaoyi frantically shook her head. She tried to shake off these images she didn't want to remember. Su Muchen. Then can you tell me what other embarrassing things I did last night? Su Muchen deliberately played coy. Trust me, you won't want to know. Song Qiaoyi, all right. Oh, no. She must have made a huge fool of herself last night. Song Qiaoyi had lost count how many times she had embarrassed herself in front of Su Muchen. She wondered if her fate was too aligned or misaligned with Su Muchen's, that she always ran into him. Su Muchen let out an inscrutable snicker and turned to leave. But just then, from behind him, a voice suddenly drifted. Soft as clouds, yet subtly alluring. Su Muchen. Song Qiaoyi's voice was naturally delicate and soft. But it wasn't deliberately cutesy. It was the unconsciously alluring lilt of someone just waking up in the morning. Su Muchen stopped, his hands in his pockets. He tilted his head to look at her, asking grumpily, What? Song Qiaoyi tugged at her wine-stained clothes and asked, My clothes are too dirty. Could you lend me one of your shirts or a white tee? I want to take a shower. Is that okay? Su Muchen glanced at Song Qiaoyi out of the corner of his eye. Yet she was looking up at him, her eyes curved in a smile, completely devoid of any guilt for having taken advantage of him. He wondered if she had forgotten, or was pretending to forget. Su Muchen opened the wardrobe. The clothes inside were also prepared by his secretary in advance. Some new, some old. He had just picked up a brand new shirt, but after thought, he put it back. His clearly defined fingers slid to a used shirt next to it, and he pulled it out. As Su Muchen handed it to Song Qiaoyi, he said, "Wash it clean and return it to me." Song Qiaoyi took it. "Okay, I will." She took Su Muchen's clothes and entered the bathroom. Inside the bathroom, mist filled the air. Through the hazy, frosted glass door, Song Qiaoyi's graceful silhouette was faintly visible. Song Qiaoyi leaned her back against the glass door, looking at Su Muchen's shirt in her hand, feeling as she had been a bit impulsive. After all, her relationship with Su Muchen wasn't particularly close. It might have been inappropriate to just abruptly ask him for clothes like that. Song Qiaoyi lowered her head and sniffed her dress. A pungent smell of alcohol, mixed with a cigarette smoke she detested the most. She really couldn't stand the smell. Never mind AT worst. She'd wash it clean and return it, and buy him a new one. Besides, he still had a suit jacket at her place. It would just make a set. Song Qiaoyi turned on the faucet. Her wet hair spread over her fragrant shoulders and fair skin. Water poured down from above her head, as if taking the opportunity to flirt intimately with her. It kissed every inch of her skin as it slowly flowed down. Song Qiaoyi took a full hour to shower. The bathroom door opened. Song Qiaoyi walked out of the bathroom, drying her wet hair to S.O. comfortable. Knock, knock, knock. Just then, a knock on the door suddenly sounded. Song Qiaoyi, rubbing her hair, looked up and saw Su Muchen leaning casually against the wall, raising a hand to knock on her door. Su Muchen paused, then turned his head to look. His gaze landed precisely on Song Qiaoyi's ill-fitting shirt. She had just been leaning sideways, drying her hair, and her collar had become somewhat loose, revealing a significant amount of her fair skin. Su Muchen pressed his lips together and shifted his gaze away. He raised a hand to rub his burning ear, his voice languid. "Dress properly, then come eat." Song Qiaoyi. She didn't notice Su Muchen's red ears, wondering what was wrong with her clothes. She merely glanced down and hastily, nervously adjusted them. During dinner, no one spoke. Only the crisp sound of chopsticks touching bowls could be heard. Song Qiaoyi had intended to finish eating quickly and leave, but Su Muchen suddenly spoke. "Tonight, could you accompany me to dinner and then a movie?" Song Qiaoyi wanted to refuse. She was about to speak, but Su Muchen, can you force her words back down? For some reason, Song Qiaoyi always felt a hint of sadness when Su Muchen said this, as if something was weighing on his mind. So, as if by some strange compulsion, Song Qiaoyi agreed. "Thank you." Song Qiaoyi waved her hand. "It's nothing, really. Consider it repayment for the times you've helped me recently. But I need to go home first. I can't possibly go out wearing your clothes, can I?" As she spoke, she tugged at the clothes she was wearing. "No problem." For easy communication, Song Qiaoyi and Su Muchen exchanged contact information and added each other on WeChat. The first thing Song Qiaoyi did after adding Su Muchen on WeChat was open his moments. The result showed visible for only 3 days. After dinner, just as Song Qiaoyi was about to leave, she received an unfamiliar call. She answered and found it was from the hospital. The hospital informed her that Lu Yubai had been admitted due to alcohol poisoning and was receiving treatment, his condition critical. Because Lu Yubai's contact list only contained Song Qiaoyi's number, they called to notify her to come over immediately. But Song Qiaoyi had just agreed to Su Muchen's invitation. Should she go find Lu Yubai or accompany Su Muchen now? Hospital. Lu Yubai lay on the bed, his face pale and 4 drip in his left arm, while his right hand played with his phone. From time to time, he glanced toward the door of the ward. Lu Yubai was convinced that Song Qiaoyi would definitely come to the hospital to find him, because he knew that she had always cared about him the most. Footsteps echoed from outside the ward, followed by a few knocks on the door, and then the ward door was pushed open from the outside. Lu Yubai looked up at the sound. Upon seeing who had arrived, the smile on Lu Yubai's face instantly vanished, his lips turning downwards with a hint of disappointment. "You're here." Jiang Xinyu froze. She had naturally noticed a change in Lu Yubai's expression, but she maintained a smile on her face and asked concernedly, "Ayu, are you okay? How did you suddenly end up in the hospital?" "Alcohol poisoning." Lu Yubai said it very casually. He patted the hospital bed, motioning for Jiang Xinyu to sit down. "I'm fine now. I can be discharged tomorrow." Jiang Xinyu sat down beside him. "You too. Why didn't you go straight home after drinking so much? You were still running around outside. Luckily, nothing serious happened. You scared me to death." Last night at the bar, Lu Yubai had gone with Jiang Xinyu to her friend's party. With many people egging them on, he ended up drinking a lot on her behalf. It was already late at night when the party ended. Jiang Xinyu was going to the second round with her friends and didn't notice that Lu Yubai's face was already looking unwell. Lu Yubai took a taxi home alone. Midway, they passed the apartment he had prepared for Song Qiaoyi and he told the driver to stop. He knocked on the door, but no one answered. Lu Yubai used a password to open the door, only to find that Song Qiaoyi wasn't home at all. He was about to make a call when he suddenly felt dizzy. The next thing he knew, he was lying in the hospital. It was already the next day. The doctor said his condition was critical when he was admitted, and they had no choice but to use his fingerprint to unlock his phone and contact his family. That person was Song Qiaoyi. Because Song Qiaoyi was the only contact in Lu Yubai's phone, the doctor naturally assumed she was his family member. As for Jiang Xinyu, he hadn't told her he was hospitalized. So how did she know? Lu Yubai was not one to keep things to himself. He asked, Xinyu, how did you know I was in the hospital? Jiang Xinyu paused as she opened the takeout food. Qiaoyi told me. Song Qiaoyi told her. Then why didn't she come herself? For some reason, Lu Yubai felt that Song Qiaoyi had changed, but he couldn't pinpoint what had changed. It was as if she cared about him a little less. Lu Yubai asked again, did she say anything else? No. After saying that, she continued to open the takeout and place it in front of Lu Yubai. It was a bowl of seafood porridge and some spicy side dishes. Eat it while it's hot. Lu Yubai was a little disgusted. I have alcohol poisoning. I just had my stomach pumped. I can't eat these. This wasn't Lu Yubai's first time with alcohol poisoning. He still remembered the first time, when it had scared Song Qiaoyi so badly that she cried her eyes out. For a week after he was discharged, the doctor advised a light diet. Song Qiaoyi, afraid he wouldn't eat, cooked him different dishes every day. From then on, Song Qiaoyi would tirelessly remind him not to drink too much, not to show off, and take care of his body. And every time, she would block drinks for him, and the next day, she would wake up early to make him breakfast, simply because he would get a stomachache even after one drink. So he had to eat breakfast the next day. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I just thought you loved seafood and spicy food, so... Jiang Xinyu even choked up as she spoke. Lu Yubai couldn't bear to see Jiang Xinyu cry. Xinyu, don't cry. I didn't mean to blame you. It hurts me to see you cry. Really? Jiang Xinyu still sniffled a couple of times. Of course. Jiang Xinyu hugged Lu Yubai tightly and kissed him on the cheek. Ayu, you're so good. What do you want to eat? I'll go buy it for you. He wanted to eat what Song Qiaoyi cooked, Lu Yubai thought in his heart, but on his lips he asked, can you cook anything? The first thing Lu Yubai did after waking up was to upgrade to a VIP ward, so the ward came with its own kitchen. Jiang Xinyu leaned on Lu Yubai's shoulder, a little embarrassed. I can't cook anything, but I can learn. Never mind, never mind. Just go buy for me. Lu Yubai thought for a moment, then named a dish from Ihasu, but that restaurant was a bit far from the hospital where Lu Yubai was. Jiang Xinyu was a little reluctant. That place is so far. How about we just order takeout? Lu Yubai had never eaten takeout. Whenever he wanted something, he just had to say it, and Song Qiaoyi would get it for him without a second thought, even if it meant crossing half of Yunqing. Never mind, never mind. Just buy whatever you want. Lu Yubai said with a hint of impatience. Jiang Xinyu heard it, but she still acted boldly, rubbing against Lu Yubai's body, a mysterious smile hanging on her lips. All day, Lu Yubai seemed a bit absent-minded. His attention was on his phone, as if he was waiting for someone's WeChat message. Jiang Xinyu knew who it was. Unfortunately, all day long, Lu Yubai didn't receive any message from Song Qiaoyi, not even a single message of concern or greeting. In the past, Song Qiaoyi would have bombarded him with WeChat messages, but now it was completely silent for an entire day. His distinctly jointed fingers hovered over the voice chat icon. A moment later, Lu Yubai moved his fingers away and put down his phone. His self-esteem was very strong. In the past, Song Qiaoyi always called him first. He had never called her first. Asterisk Song Qiaoyi returned to the apartment Lu Yubai had prepared for her. The apartment had a simple decor, not very large, about 100 square meters, but it was enough for her to live alone. After all, it was given for free, so why not take it? Song Qiaoyi took another shower and changed into her own clothes. She didn't forget to wash Su Muchen's suit jacket and shirt, hanging them to dry on the balcony. There were still several hours before her appointed time with Su Muchen. Song Qiaoyi lay on the bed, preparing to rest for a while. Song Qiaoyi chose not to go to the hospital, but instead sent a WeChat message to Jiang Xinyu, telling her about Lu Yubai's condition and asking her to go to the hospital to take care of him. After all, this was now Jiang Xinyu's responsibility, not hers. Song Qiaoyi slept for a while, and when she woke up, there were still 3 hours until the appointed time. There was still enough time. When Song Qiaoyi was abroad, because the local style was casual, she usually went out with a bare face, a white t-shirt and jeans, and a simple ponytail. Thinking about it, it had been a long time since she had properly done her makeup and dressed up. Song Qiaoyi sat in front of the dressing mirror, looking at herself in the reflection, and reached out to touch her face. She had once wondered if it was because she wasn't pretty enough. not as good at dressing herself as Jiang Xinyu. That Lu Yubai didn't like her. Song Qiaoyi didn't like to wear makeup. She naturally had good skin. Sometimes she would just apply sunscreen when going out. To this day, she didn't even own a complete set of cosmetics. Perhaps it was time for her to make a change. Song Qiaoyi changed her clothes, and seeing that it was still early, she went to a shopping mall near the apartment. Looking at the dazzling array of cosmetics counters, she walked in without hesitation. About 40 minutes later, Song Qiaoyi emerged with a full bag of cosmetics and returned to the apartment. Song Qiaoyi sat back in front of the dressing mirror, opened the bag, which contained a full set of makeup products and tools. She might be lazy about makeup, but that didn't mean she didn't know how to apply it. An hour later, as the setting powder was applied, Song Qiaoyi put down the makeup brush and looked at herself in the mirror. She felt as though she had regained a bit of confidence. She wasn't ugly after all. That could only mean Lu Yubai was blind. After packing up her things, just before leaving, Song Qiaoyi received a WeChat message from Lu Yubai, telling her to come to the hospital to find him. It also included a selfie. In the photo, Lu Yubai lay on the bed, his face pale, with a needle still inserted into the back of his hand. Song Qiaoyi remembered that every time Lu Yubai had alcohol poisoning in the past, she was always by his side, taking care of him, watching him suffer, and feeling heartbroken herself. The hand holding the phone trembled slightly. She was wavering. Vienna restaurant. Su Muchen sat alone in a private room by the window, unsure if Song Qiaoyi would come. Su Muchen had excellent hearing, and he had accidentally overheard the content of Song Qiaoyi's phone call that morning. At the same time, he also knew Lu Yubai standing in Song Qiaoyi's heart. He was scared. He was uncertain. As the coffee cup clinked against the table, this was already Su Muchen's third cup of coffee. He had been waiting for over an hour. The light rain outside the window, like the desolation in Su Muchen's heart, ceaselessly drizzled, gradually drowning his heart, stripping away warmth and hope, leaving only a bleak emptiness. He should have guessed. She still went. She definitely would go. Su Muchen's face showed sadness, and he repeatedly murmured, "Sure enough, I'm still alone." Song Qiaoyi's sudden voice was like warm sunshine, illuminating Su Muchen's heart, and the gloom within him vanished completely. Scrape. With sudden scrape as the chair was pushed back, Su Muchen stood up from his seat, embracing Song Qiaoyi tightly, continuously thanking her. Song Qiaoyi was clearly startled by Su Muchen's actions, her hands hovering at her sides, a bit at a loss. Su Muchen, what's wrong? Su Muchen had no intention of letting go. Instead, he hugged her even tighter. Song Qiaoyi, feeling a bit breathless from the embrace, patted his shoulder. "I'm wet. I'm uncomfortable like this." Hearing this, Su Muchen finally released Song Qiaoyi. He saw that her clothes were soaked, and her hair was wet and plastered to her scalp. "What happened to you?" Su Muchen called a waiter for a clean towel. "Let me wipe you dry. Don't catch a cold." Song Qiaoyi used a tissue to wipe the rainwater from herself. "Traffic was bad because of the rain. I was afraid you'd wait too long, so I jogged all the way here with an umbrella. But I was still nearly an hour late. If I had known, I might as well have just waited in the car. Silly woman." Su Muchen called a waiter for a clean towel. "Let me wipe you dry. Don't catch a cold." Song Qiaoyi wanted to wipe herself, but Su Muchen didn't let go. I can do it myself." Su Muchen's tone was commanding. "Listen to me. Sit down obediently." Song Qiaoyi recoiled her neck slightly and sat down obediently. Her long hair, drenched by the rain, was splayed over her shoulders, and droplets of water slid down Song Qiaoyi's neck. Su Muchen carefully placed a towel on Song Qiaoyi's hair, gently wiping it, his fingers applying slight pressure. Song Qiaoyi's breathing quickened, feeling Su Muchen's fingertips lightly brush against her skin, sending shivers through her. She felt very ticklish. Her body instinctively tried to evade his fingertips. "Don't move around." His deep, resonant voice lingered above her head. Song Qiaoyi became increasingly restless. "All right, that's enough. You can stop now." Seemingly noticing Song Qiaoyi's discomfort, Su Muchen, after making sure her hair was dry, also smoothly combed it. "Song Qiaoyi, thank you. This was the first time anyone had ever helped her dry her hair." She remembered once, when she went out with Lu Yubai, they also encountered heavy rain, and both of them were drenched to the bone. Song Qiaoyi, afraid Lu Yubai would catch a cold, despite being even wetter herself, first helped him dry his hair and then heated ginger tea. However, Lu Yubai immediately fell asleep, completely disregarding whether she might catch a cold. As soon as Su Muchen sat down, Song Qiaoyi repeatedly apologized. "I'm so sorry. I ended up making you wait so long after all. It's all right. Being late is a privilege for all girls." Su Muchen pushed the menu towards Song Qiaoyi. "I've already ordered some things. Take a look and see what else you'd like to eat. Feel free to order anything." Song Qiaoyi knew this restaurant. It was one of Yunqing's top high-end establishments, and its prices were famously expensive, with even a casual meal costing over 1,000 yuan. She thought that since Su Muchen had become a bartender just to make a living, his financial situation must not be very good. How could she dare to order any more dishes? Song Qiaoyi pushed the menu back, tactfully declining. Actually, it's not necessary. I eat little at night, and if we order too much, we won't finish it. Eat more, you're too thin. Picking up the menu, Su Muchen ordered quite a bit more. The result was that the two of them couldn't finish everything. Song Qiaoyi suggested packing the leftovers, and Su Muchen agreed, so she called the waiter. During the pause for packing, Song Qiaoyi used the excuse of going to the restroom and secretly paid the bill. Returning to the private room, Song Qiaoyi held something unknown in her hand. She suddenly spoke, congratulating. Happy birthday. Su Muchen's body trembled. How did you know today was my birthday? It's a secret. Actually, she had seen it while paying the bill. This restaurant also operated on a reservation system, and the reservation information included ID card numbers. Song Qiaoyi had an eidetic memory, so she immediately noticed Su Muchen's birth date on the ID card, which was today. Song Qiaoyi handed the box in her hand to Su Muchen. What is this? Song Qiaoyi chuckled twice. Your birthday present, but promise me you'll open it when you get home. Just don't dislike it. Su Muchen took the box. His fingertips brushed it unconsciously, and a warmth flowed from his fingertips deep into Su Muchen's heart. You should have told me earlier, so I could have properly prepared a gift for you. Su Muchen's expression was downcast, his face filled with unspoken thoughts. I don't like celebrating birthdays. Today is also the first time anyone has celebrated a birthday with me. She could tell something must have happened to Su Muchen. She could also see that Su Muchen clearly wished for someone to celebrate his birthday with him, yet he forced himself to say the opposite. Song Qiaoyi suddenly felt a little pity for Su Muchen. She secretly made a decision in her heart. If there was a chance next year, she would definitely prepare a gift for Su Muchen in advance and give him a proper birthday celebration. The cold wind tonight was biting. Song Qiaoyi's still damp clothes made her shiver uncontrollably. Her hands instinctively crossed over her chest, rubbing her arms. Su Muchen actively took off his jacket and draped it over her. Forget the movie. I'll take you home so you can quickly change your clothes. But achoo. Before Song Qiaoyi could finish speaking, she sneezed several times, and her hands clutched Su Muchen's jacket even tighter. Su Muchen drove Song Qiaoyi home. At the apartment entrance, Song Qiaoyi got out of the car, thanking him. I'm here. Thank you for taking me home. Su Muchen sat in the driver's seat and rolled down the passenger window. It's late. Go on up quickly and get some rest. Song Qiaoyi was about to take off the jacket to return it to him. Your jacket, old rule, Su Muchen interrupted her. Song Qiaoyi. Oh, well, another one after confirming that Song Qiaoyi had opened the door and gone inside. Su Muchen rolled up the window and drove away. Song Qiaoyi opened the door to find Lu Yubai sitting on the living room sofa, his face sulky, his unfathomable eyes fixed on her.